Hello, and welcome to this discussion of hybrid management with OpsRamp. I'm Philippe Vincent. I'm Chief Operating Officer of OpsRamp, Digital Ops Leader for Hybrid IT. Thank you for joining us. This presentation is for you if you're still experiencing the following challenges managing your hybrid environment. Still too many tools, still not well integrated, lacking depth, invisibility, still struggling with the ability to remediate, control, or even automate. If you feel that AI is not yet delivering on its promise, or that the user experience in your platform is clunky, or that if it won't extend to modern architectures, these are all reasons I suggest you may find this presentation interesting. Before we go further, a few words about OpsRamp. OpsRamp is a modern ITOM company, modern IT ops management, trusted by thousands of customers. Our customers are IT service providers across enterprises, managed service providers, some of the world's largest global SIs, as well as the OEMs that are all using OpsRamp for the delivery of their hybrid services. The core of OpsRamp is the OpsRamp platform. It's a hyperscale, multi-tier, multi-tenant platform that brings together natively hybrid observability, AI ops, and automation. Finally, our customers, IT service providers, drive digital innovation with OpsRamp. They save cost, they improve customer outcomes with a very, very productive model that is highly automated. Some of the examples of benefits that some of our customers achieved: 2x increase in the number of resources managed by FTE, a 50% reduction in mean time to resolution, and a 30% reduction in tooling cost. OpsRamp today has a very broad and distributed customer base. Across this customer base, we manage several millions of resources with about a 60-40% split, about 60% in the public cloud and 40% on-prem. So going back to the challenge of managing hybrid environments, OpsRamp was designed for this challenge. And when we think of it, it's not merely the challenge of managing across public and private. It's also considering whether the applications running in those environments are going to be traditional or modern. Most of our customers today use a combination of all of the above. They will be running traditional apps in traditional environments. They will be running modern apps in public cloud, as well as modern workloads in private clouds as well. And the real art of hybrid management is the art of figuring out where you build your workloads, which part of your workloads you build, which do you migrate to the cloud, which do you repatriate, which ones do you extend into true hybrid applications with, let's say, a front end in Azure and a back end in your on-prem data center. That is the fundamental challenge of hybrid management. And within IT, we need to do that across and consider the traditional trade-offs of agility versus cost versus performance and availability. In addition to that, we have to consider security, compliance, and the operational maturity of our teams. So a fairly significant challenge for IT practitioners when addressing the scope, the dynamic nature of hybrid environments. So to do so, they turn to their tools. And the tooling, I think we'll all agree, the tooling today is still not yet at the level that we would like it to be. Many tools are fairly siloed. They're good at doing certain things with certain environments and technologies, but very few are able to broaden to the entire scope of hybrid management. So when we bring it back down to the practitioner and the pain that he or she may feel, the challenge of distributed management is even worse when you're looking at customers who might be running a distributed customer base. One of our managed service customers in the past few weeks has onboarded about 30 different enterprise customers. Or you could be an enterprise with 2 or 3 business units, or you're running a certain number of companies that you've acquired with a certain amount of independence, and you've got to bring all of that under centralized management. So centralized management is the challenge of hybrid management. And there are several approaches to that. The first one is to centralize the information, centralize the management model. That's what we call federate, federating the approach. The second, once you've federated the information, is to leverage AI and machine learning. Our world is rich of information that can be used and processed for faster and more accurate decision making. And then finally, just as AI and machine learning is essentially leveraging what machines can do as they look at our data, Automate is about leveraging what our humans know about the environments, leveraging their know-how, encapsulating it in recipes and workflows that can be automatically triggered upon certain conditions. So the combination of the two, leveraging human learning and leveraging machine learning, is really part of the solution to this problem. So I'll talk briefly about federating. Today, the federating, essentially, the modern name for federating is observability. And hybrid observability here means bringing all the relevant data that IT needs to make decisions, whether it is metrics, whether it is logs, whether it's traces, and across all of my different technology environments and clouds, bringing that information together into one source, contextualizing it with dependency models and other relationships that understand what depends on what and what might affect what, gives us predictability when we analyze the data. In terms of how OpsRamp delivers hybrid observability, today OpsRamp covers and offers thousands of technology integrations, covering over 500 different technology vendors. So a huge footprint of technology integrations, which allows our customers to manage across that very broad hybrid estate. It's even more important where our customers might be service providers, and they may have dozens of customers with an even more varied set of technology footprints. In terms of how we go after that information, how we integrate with those environments, we use two methods, agentless and agent-based. Agentless is appropriate where speed and ease of use is of importance. Agent-based is most appropriate when we're looking for a deeper form of monitoring, where the granularity and the frequency of the data is important, where real-time is important, or where the ability to control the environment is important. In a platform like ours, it's not enough to monitor, you want to act upon it. And so the form of integration we have with the system is also going to be important. Finally, we bring all this information into a massively scalable SaaS platform, and we apply a very unique tenancy model. You know, every SaaS company and every SaaS platform is by definition built to be multi-tenant, which means that we isolate all of the different environments. But it's one thing to isolate everything. It's another to recognize that there are relationships between the environments that we're coalescing and centralizing. For example, if you're an MSP and you're dealing with 50 different customers, you want to isolate your customers, but you also want to keep the fact that you are the overall manager of those 50 customers. Or if you're with an enterprise that has acquired a number of different business units, you might want to consider the relationship between those and nest your environments one within the other. So this is called multi-tiered tenancy. It's a very important capability of OpsRamp. It allows our customers to manage those environments exactly at the level that is appropriate. And finally, the access to that information, the access to the action and remediation is controlled by a very granular set of role-based access controls so that your resources or the resources that are going to be brought to bear can act within the very specific scope that matters and that's appropriate for them. So with that, you've got hybrid observability, which is a big part of solving the problem of hybrid management, bringing all the information under one umbrella. But it is not enough. In addition to bringing the information together, you need to invent a centralized management model, a new way of managing at very large scale. And at very large scale, there is only one form of management that works, and it's proactive management. You cannot, at very large scale, react to every single input and then ask yourself, what should I do, and react to it. In a very large scale or a very distributed environment, IT needs to lay out its management templates, its policies, its configurations. Everything needs to be defined upfront and then propagated to the customer base, to the environments. And with that method, you can very rapidly apply solutions at scope. For example, let's say that IT might define a solution for configuring the right monitoring approach for a particular storage array. Then you're going to want to be able to say, well, everything that looks like this storage array in my customer base across all of my environments, push this button, and from now on, it's going to be managed and monitored against that template. Or you might come up with a remediation that applies to a certain type of Linux servers. And you're going to want to be able to push that remediation to everything that looks like that across your environment, or to filtered list of your customers across those environments. So a centralized top-down propagation-based model is very important to a centralized management model, and it saves incredible amounts of time. The next thing that's important, which is the reverse of propagation, it's aggregation. It's the ability to interrogate all of those environments and ask questions. With a distributed environment of that kind, it's important to be able to say, well, show me all of those environments that match a particular criteria, and do that across all of my business units, or do that across all of my customers. Having a single query language that works across all of those types of information, across all of those customers, will give you the ability to ask and learn across the entire customer base. And OpsRamp has implemented this centralized approach to management across everything we do, which means that from onboarding a customer, onboarding an environment, to configuring their dashboards, their alerts, configuring remediations and the like, all of that can be done upfront and then propagated to any part of the customer base, saving you absolutely massive amounts of time. And the aggregation of insights across the entire customer base can be done in a central query language that we call OpsQL. So federation is a combination of observability and a centralized management model. Now, those are two fundamentals of how OpsRamp addresses the challenge of distributed hybrid management. In addition to that, you have AIOps, leveraging machine learning. Now, the opportunity here is to reduce those big data problems into actionable insights. We do that on the monitoring side with use cases like anomaly detection and probable root cause, but you can also do that on the event management side, reducing alerts. A typical reduction in alert volume that we've experienced across our customer base is anywhere from about 70 to about 95%, depending on the implementation. OpsRamp will ingest events from our native instrumentation, but also from any other monitoring tool you're using, and reduce them, enrich them, rationalize them, and then route them to the appropriate team members. So all of those are applications of AIOps, and there's a constant feed of new algorithms and new use cases that are being provided here. And then finally, there's automation. And automation for me is dependent of AIOps. It's about leveraging human learning, encapsulating your team's knowledge, and automate repetitive tasks and their remediations with a flexible workflow engine, a robust automated runbook framework, scripting language, and ITSM and automation integrations with downstream systems, so that you can act and remediate from the OpsRamp platform with a very robust set of capability. And you can see the quote from our friends at Forrester, essentially complimenting us for the breadth of automation capabilities that are available to our customers. Now, when you combine all this together, this central approach to management with hybrid observability and the centralized management model, combined with machine learning and process automation, this is how our customers are able to achieve massive gains in productivity and efficiency. This is also how they reduce their tooling costs across a very broad footprint. And this is how they can improve their service delivery. So if you're still experiencing those issues, I might consider that, I might suggest that you might have outgrown your existing tools. Now would be a good time to visit us at opsramp.com. We'll be thrilled to have a discussion with you. Take very good care.